Last time on Almost Heroes.
Shortly after the battle subsided, we got our rest, woke up the next day. We had a lot of things we needed to accomplish. Glenn went and met his buddy Pops and got a bunch of items identified. We found out that one of the items that we took from Luthor is potentially a key. And Cosmo, on his good boy game, he found a place for most of the refugees who wanted to stay in town. But Cosmo, Glenn, and Rangrim came up with a plan not only to franchise DOS Dogs, which is a brilliant idea, but also to get the Underpeeps to a new safe home. The group has decided to cast off towards Whitport, hopefully finding a nice little sanctuary for our friends. I think I got the plot points.
You had another connection with that coin where you saw another scene where there was something shambling around and repeating that they wanted to find the Tattered Lord. And that kind of led you to where we'll pick up today with episode 16, Fly By Night. Waiting for dusk so that you could get the Underdark denizens, like the residents of the Underdark that have now come to the surface, to be able to transport them towards Whitport and hope that Cedric will be able to take them in. But of course, being of the Underdark, they really can only travel by night. So you are starting the first leg of your journey here, and you'll essentially be doing kind of a nocturnal transport of these people to Whitport is kind of the plan currently.
I think we left off. Glenn was holding the mask, just kind of looking at it, waiting for Cosmo to show up with the refugees.
Yeah,
get all the carts ready.
Yeah, I think that you were all just kind of going over anything you wanted to do before and prepare before heading out of town and kind of collecting the refugees. I think the refugees are probably going to be all around their encampment unless you had them go somewhere else.
No, yeah, that's fine. So then what we'll do is Cosmo will wander back over and visit Zagu again. So we could kind of start there. Cosmo would approach the encampment tent. What do I see?
Yeah, so this time when you're going to the encampment tents, unlike when it was light outside, where they're all kind of hiding in their tents and in the homes that they'd kind of been rented or lent in the short term, there's a lot more activity and there's people milling about kind of in the dark. For them, it probably isn't as dark as it might seem, although you have dark vision, so you have the same kind of vision as them essentially, but some of them have even better and improved dark vision and whatnot. But they're all kind of wandering around, meandering around, and after a little bit of kind of like just moving through and looking around, you catch Zagu's eye, and you can see that he's kind of like just watching as Peter runs around and just is playing, like kind of on one of the little near the tent. Hey, what's going on? Are you getting ready to head out?
I was coming to see who was ready to head out. Me and me comrades, we've rented some carts to taxi them to safety.
Yeah, I think that anyone that's going to be heading out of town they're mostly over, and as he's kind of pointing, you can see that there's this group that is kind of huddled, and they're just looking a little bit out of place, but they haven't taken their tents with them, but any of their belongings that they were able to take from the Underdark with them, they have on their back, and it's kind of a ramshackle assortment of creatures, but it's drow, it's duger, it's deep gnomes, it's a whole combination of folk and of different varying ages. There are some that are very old, there are some that are very young. They seem to be more in those ranges, though. They don't seem to be a lot of like very fighting fit people. They definitely seem to be a little bit more of the infirm.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, appreciate it, Zagu, and I'll be back in a few days to check on you.
I appreciate it, and thank you again. I'll do my best to kind of try to fill Joro's shoes as much as I can.
I believe in you. And I would wander towards the group, and yeah.
Yeah, so you see a kind of an older drow dark elf woman steps out, and she seems like she actually, like, half of her face is like pretty badly burned. It doesn't seem like it's by any like fire. It almost seems like more of an acidic scarring and damage, and like half of her hair is actually gone on that side too. But she's much older, and as you approach, she just kind of steps out and uh, I'll so where are we headed?
I'm Cosmo. Don't know, and I will be shuttling you north of here to a town called Whitport. I know the mayor there, and I think that will be good safe haven.
To be honest, anything's better than here. So um I everyone's ready to go. So just point us to where we need to load up, and we'll make sure that we're all ready.
Right. Alright, well, we can just head on up this way. The carts are ready. We'll get you loaded, and we'll be out of here.
Yeah. So as you kind of point out the carts down in the little like ring in the kind of the center part of the city there, just below, essentially like the dirt road, that kind of ring that goes around in the lowest part of the city before heading up towards the top part of the rim of Tin Town. Since Tin Town is kind of built into a bowl, they head over there and kind of disperse themselves up and load up their belongings in the carts, and just kind of get ready. They don't really have much attachment to this town. It seems like, if anything, they're trying to get out of here as quickly as possible.
Do I see Glenn?
Do
Yep.
you?
Yeah, Glenn would be when the group is approaching. Glenn had just finished kind of setting a torch on each side of the carts and lighting them, because it's going to be a night travel, and we know that. I mean, I know they can all kind of see in the dark, but just safe travel at night. You want some kind of light. But before the group had approached as well, Glenn would have written a letter to Cedric and sent Poe to deliver it. Just a little bit of a heads up. The letter would have read, "Hey Cedric, bring in a bunch of underfolk. Got anywhere for them to stay? Please send a letter back."
Okay, so
Pass
you
that
would
out.
have just sent that. Gotcha.
Like, yeah, at any point once I realized that we were like starting to make the move. So, and then as the group approaches, kind of wave over to Cosmo. Rangram, are you over by us?
Yeah, I would be with you guys at the carts at this point too. Yeah.
Okay. Just wave over to Cosmo, and Rangram will be like, "Boys, looks like we're ready to head out of here. Why don't we load everybody up? Should be about, I think we did the math. It's about 5 to a cart. You guys got anything in mind for maybe who takes the front carts, who takes the back carts? We have any fighters in this group? I mean, I don't think there's going to be huge problems, but last couple of times we took this route, it wasn't necessarily the smoothest."
While y'all sort that out, Rangram starts drawing symbols in the dirt and put some of his like cleric things around it, and I'm gonna cast detect magic as a ritual,
Sick.
so I don't burn the spell slot. And I'm specifically looking for a magical aura around the face of anyone who's getting on the cards
Ooh.
with us.
Cool. Yeah. So I'll say that you don't get, there's no like spells where like you can see any illusion spells or anything of that sort. You don't see anything like that. You see like maybe small like magical treatments on trinkets with a couple of the people, just like shiny spots in their pant pocket or around their necks, or in their bags. But
Okay.
it's
Because it would say
nothing-
any item that's magical in nature I'd be able to like see it.
Yeah, you can see
Alright,
small
cool.
trinkets that are lighting up, but it's nothing
got some
major.
stuff.
And no one is like head to toe.
Glenn's glowing
magical.
like the 4th of July.
Yeah, exactly. You all are lighting up like Christmas trees at this point. And actually, as you're casting that spell, and as you're kind of finishing it up, Rangrim, you hear someone kind of coming up behind you, and puts a hand on your shoulder, and when you turn around, you see Constable Hunter. He's kind of panting, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't think I was going to catch you all. I should have given you this earlier." And he kind of like he kind of like takes your hand and puts this small, like some, you feel something small and metal in it, and then when he pulls his hand away, you see that it is actually a symbol or a sigil that's made out of silver that you've seen on his like cloak before, and it's the actual like his constable's sigil. And then he kind of pulls out of his pocket. He gives you a rolled up parchment and just says, "This I want to make sure that you don't have any problems when you all are traveling. This is kind of an unorthodox group of people, and I just want to make sure that you're not bothered. No one troubles you. And I also want to just give you this sigil of mine. This is a sigil that only constables have. And so by having this combination of this endorsement that I've written, as well as having my symbol, you'll be able to pass, hopefully, without issue. There are also some slight magical capabilities to this symbol that only constables are generally able to use. So what this will do is it'll enhance, and this might sound a little strange, but it'll actually enhance your sense of smell and allow you to just kind of follow your nose in a little bit more of a visual sense than you normally would be able to. And I don't know if it's going to be of any help to you, but if in the very least, it'll hopefully allow you to pass safely. And I think that you've earned that.
Well, thank you, Constable. And Ringham just sticks out his hand holding the sigil and the other to shake his hand. Again, giving him the hand with the mark on it.
Yeah, he kind of double hand shakes you and just goes, "I wish you all the best of luck." And he just kind of just steps back and lets you all load up and just kind of seems to be watching.
Well then, Rangrim, is you ready?
Ready as ever. And he takes the sigil and would put it in one of the pouches on. He still wears his apron, his smith's apron, over his
right. Well,
sigil and the parchment in it.
Rangrim, cool. Can you take the? Will you sit on the front cart with?
Yeah, I'm pretty. You're gonna need some good eyes on this, and we all know that I'm good at that. Those things.
Well, I actually just forgot that you only have one good eye now.
Yeah, but that's the thing. This was the good eye.
All right. Well, then you can still have the front cart.
So you guys like stumbling through this. Glenn walks up and kind of like pats Cosmo on the shoulders, like, "Yeah, I'll take second watch with him too. I'll accompany you up front."
All right, that sounds good. I'll bring up the rear, and we'll be on our way then.
As you're leading this procession and this caravan out of town, you're kind of like, a couple things strike you. Glenn, you notice that Pops's shop is much more active than you have seen it in the past. Like smoke is just billowing from it, and it is making more grinding gear noises than you have ever seen. Like clearly whatever's going on there, it is like he is hard at work, or something is definitely being made or going on currently. And then kind of as you're leaving town, like Rangrim, you can see that you kind of catch like the shape of someone watching you from like up towards the Iron Woman, and like you can kind of just see the line of what you assume to be Madge waving to you and just kind of saying goodbye. And just as you're leaving the town, like it's kind of like, it's strange because there's usually so much activity in this town and so many noises of industry in the mine and all these things going all the time, and it's just quiet. Like it's really kind of unsettlingly quiet, and it just like, as you're leaving, it just kind of gives you this feeling of like a little bit of foreboding in a way that like you're maybe not normally left with when you're leaving town. But you make it out of Tin Town, and you are kind of like, as you're out on the road and you get onto the top rim of the town and leave it behind you, it quickly disappears kind of into the trees, and you are just kind of on the road in the darkness.
As we're kind of like starting the trail, I imagine Rangham's like sitting center front, driving the cart, and I'm kind of sitting. Maybe a refugee is in our cart, not really sure, but kind of lean over to Rangham. But hey, bud, I want to apologize for earlier this morning. I know I put a bunch of threats out towards, so many whole deer, but I hope you understand where this is coming from. This isn't a hostility to you or your people, but I can't let stuff like that slide. It's just not allowed.
It's not your fault. It's mine. That's your honor. I think I'm finding mine again.
You think
I
you
only ask that if it comes to that and she needs to die, I should be the one to deliver that final blow.
I mean, I'll pull my punches as much as I can, but
I mean, she has been jumping you in alleys and whatnot, catching you with your pants down for sneaky elf and things. So I mean,
that's the crazy part is I don't wear pants, and she's been applying them and then dropping them and then attacking me. It's been unreal.
She is my daughter.
And yeah, that's actually true. I've also seen you with your pants down and removing other people's pants. There is a pants theme in your family.
Yeah, you're right. Traditions and whatnot.
What was her mother like?
She was awful.
Oh, it sounds healthy. Good.
Yep. My family was a different breed, and we tried to fold her in, and she was having none of it.
What do you mean by different breed? Like actual breed? Like species?
No, we didn't worship the same as the rest of the Grey Dwarfs. We still followed Mordrin, which we were heretics for it.
Oh, that was a tough day.
I thought she would be willing to cast away the greed and hate of the rest of the Durgar, but she wasn't. And then she died in childbirth. And that one kind of sorted itself out, didn't it?
I suppose you dodged a bullet on that one. I mean, I don't know if there's alimony in this world, but I imagine that would have been a hell of a price to pay keeping her around too. But
she wasn't gonna tell anyone about us. She just wasn't very pleasant once she found out about it. I mean, as pleasant as Grey Dwarf women are, not so much. Believe it or not, my daughter Regalia is actually quite pleasant. You just haven't seen that part of her with the stabbing and all that.
Name Reggie's it's a good one. I might use that later. We you mentioned that you followed Morden. Do you still? I mean, he's gone, right?
Yeah, I still pray to him. And
anybody answer back?
Unfortunately, and he just waves at him like.
I mean, I guess it's a god you can touch, right? How's that work?
I think they call that God touch.
Touched by an angel.
Here comes Roma Downey, guys.
Oh God.
I'm so lost.
Yeah, it's I liked it before. This is not my favorite. Not like I see him in my dreams, and he tells me all sorts of awful stuff he's gonna do to me, or I'm coming and all this, and not like you just dancing in the foyer with your god, and I mean, we see. Me and Cosmo don't talk about it, but we see it happening.
Wait. You can see that? Can you see them? Because I didn't even know Chandrell was really real. I just was given that person to follow and told to honor this tradition. I just
I
thought
mean,
it was
I
like
can
some
hear
bullshit.
you doing it, and I can see you doing it, and you're talking to someone.
They wouldn't be able to see Chandrell. It would only be you.
I mean, unless that's just like an act you're putting on, but I don't think you're that good of an actor normally.
I mean, we use Cosmo for that one. He buries the lead all the time, but I appreciate you, I guess, kind of keeping that one on the DL and not really harassing me as much in the open. But I still feel like it comes on pretty thick every once in a while. But back to your missing god. Where are you getting your powers from, man? I mean, I met a lot of people of your kind who draw straight from the source, and I've seen the powers that you have. I've seen the impact that you have, but
Well, it was Mordrin. And then when I left the Underdark and I prayed to Mordrin again, something answered. Whatever this guy is.
well, I guess think that guy? Is that the same guy that's been chasing us and trying to kill everything? Because that's also the same thing that came up from the ground and has your daughter. I don't know if you necessarily want to be using that power.
I mean, if you want, I could just, like sit in the cart and like maybe not use magic or like make you guys cool stuff. If you want, I could do that too.
Well, I guess since you are offering to make me something, would you be willing to maybe spend some more time, give me a nice little inscription like this tiger that you did, and I just pull out the double bladed. Like maybe when we get some time and I'm like kind of petting it and making it feel like extra smooth and polished, like be nice to have something to reflect maybe the next victory. Again, your daughter keeps getting the drop on me, but
You want me to carve you kill my daughter into your sword?
I mean, like, it doesn't have to be the action of killing. Maybe just like her head on the it could be like her head on the double-bladed scimitar. It's like this like double scimitarception kind of thing.
It's just Glenn standing on top of Regalia's body, going like this.
But like boost the muscles. Like, there's not a lot there, but like
Put the dress in, lose the muscles, add the dress. It's okay.
Yes.
Muscles go boop.
Well, you do know I like inscribing stuff on that, so I'm gonna do just that.
I'm concerned what I'm gonna get on the next one, so maybe I'll wait a couple days before I actually hand it over to you to do something.
That would be fair.
I hope we find out whatever is giving you your power, and I hope it's not as terrifying as what I currently think is giving you your power.
Yeah, me too. Oh, Constable just gave me this thing. And he holds him the constable symbol. And he says it's going to help me smell things. Ingram immediately just starts sniffing the air. Do I smell anything strange?
Yes. Okay. So,
That's awesome.
yeah. So I need you to make a just roll me a perception with advantage.
Ooh, I knew you were going to ask that. Woof.
Woof.
With advantage, that's a 12.
Oh my gosh! And you have pretty good perception, don't you?
I have a +7.
Okay. So,
I rolled a 5 and a 1.
So I'll say that you kind of like you like do this perception. You try like kind of tapping into this symbol, and you like the symbol kind of like glows for a second with this like kind of red light where the imperial coat of arms is, or the symbol for the constable rank. And as you do that, it kind of just like flashes red, and then you kind of like you can smell more than you've ever been able to smell, like bloodhound status with what is like going on, and like it just kind of like it's like this new sense awakened. And as you open your eyes, because it kind of takes you off guard, you can almost see that there's like you can see a line of like red vapor, like this cloud of red vapor kind of trailing down the trail, and you can tell that like there were different kinds of merchants that were transporting different goods, and you can actually tell which goods were like. You can tell that there was bread, and that there was meat, and that there was fish coming from Whitport, and all these different things that you've would not have ever been able to tell otherwise. And it doesn't help you much right now. But the fact that you can access this new like heightened sense is definitely something that's new and hopefully could be useful.
I can smell everything. There's bread that came to Whitport 3 days ago. I can smell Cosmo hasn't showered longer than I haven't showered. You imagine that?
A line coming off Cosmo as you're traveling behind him.
That's not true.
Oh no, it is true. I took a bath at Luther's.
I'm actually amazed that you chose to even get in that bath. I've seen you just kind of funk up a place. It's nice. I like to think I'm rubbing off on you a little bit.
Are you wearing a perfume?
I mean, it's more of a cologne. You can pick it up in some small towns, but they don't really make it in Tin Town. It's foreign.
It smells floral.
Again, it's
Is this weird? But you smell good.
See, it's doing its job.
Can you tell me, is it rosewater?
I haven't decided the flower, but now I will
Okay.
come up with one.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
That's so good.
Need to come up with a Glen scent. not a D&D thing I thought I had to do in this lifetime.
Yeah, so I mean, you know this road, you've traveled this road before, and it will, by the time that you get about halfway, you know that you're going to have to camp, and you've camped in the same spot in the past where there was that copse of trees, the old campsite where you fought those tattered soldiers, the first time you encountered the Tattered Lord at all, the name. And then when you came back from Whitport last time, you went back to that clearing, fought the owlbear, and you found that the bodies had decomposed into almost powder at that point at an accelerated rate. So as you're traveling, can you guys all roll me perception checks?
Also,
Rangram, I think yours already can be riding with the other one, the other perception.
Would Poe have come back yet with a response from Cedric? We're at the halfway point.
No, you aren't actually at the halfway point yet. This is about halfway to the halfway point at this point.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I got an 18. Wait, 16.
Okay. What'd you get, Cosmo?
I got an 11.
Okay.
I'm rolling perception with advantage because of the earwig, right?
Yes, because it'd be based on hearing. Okay. So, yeah, so you kind of are riding along, and though your group is making a good amount of noise with all the clattering of the wagon wheels on kind of the stone road, you don't hear anything out of the ordinary, and it's a pretty uneventful trip until you start getting to the halfway point. And as you're getting closer to that, you're starting to kind of see something that's a little bit different. And as the sun is starting to it's starting to become like getting closer to dawn, and that kind of color is coming up over the edge of the horizon, and behind, actually, because the way the road works is that there's a kind of a clearing on your right hand side when you're traveling towards Whitport, and that's the Quiet Lands, and then you have a forest that is between you and the Von Hurst Walk, and that's where you're at right now. And that forest is pretty dense and pretty large. It spans a pretty decent area, and it's immensely dense and dark in there. And as you're getting closer to this midway point that you have interacted with twice now in two different circumstances, you kind of, for a second, lose sight of where you're at, because you don't remember this giant copse of massive trees that are about 3 times the height of all the trees around them in this area that you have stayed before. And it's not immediately recognizable, but you kind of put it together with the timing and where you're at, and you're like, okay, that shouldn't be there.
Wait, so the place that we stayed before is now just super tall trees?
Absolutely overgrown to the point of ridiculousness. It's about 3, so they're about 3 times the height, in probably a 50 to 100 foot like radius.
Are they the same kind of trees? Can I tell?
They seem to be the same kind of indigenous trees as if they just like downed every bag of Miracle Grow that exists in the world.
That's crazy.
Tight. Okay, so like as we kind of get close to that, or like as Glenn notices it, he's gonna pull the torch from next to him and just kind of like flag down to like slow down and like kind of like Rangram, we might need to have a quick conversation real quick. Just slow down. And I'm like just kind of flagging to wave everybody down. And I hop out and start making my way like as I'm passing people. I'm like, there's nothing to worry about, gotta change a tire. We'll, get some sleep in a minute. Don't worry about it. And I make it to Cosmo. I'm like, so remember those funny laughing fellows with all their pants around their ankles?
Right, well, cut his own head off. How could I forget?
Yeah, so apparently their body was just absolutely packed full of fertilizer because there's gigantic trees where we left those bodies before, and I mean the path seems safe and all, but I've messed with some druids in the past, and generally if they're going to do something like this, it means they don't want us near it, and that would be best case scenario. Worst case scenario, it's not druids, and I don't even know what the hell we're going to run into.
Wait. Druids? I thought this was because of the Tattered Lord. Not because of...
Maybe he's a angry druid. I don't know. I've never seen trees grow like this, minus a good friend from the old days, and he was a bit of a hermit, but this seems different. Do you maybe want to kind of take up the helm? I can keep watch from back here, but we might need some of that old...
Well, maybe we just somebody...
to get us through this one.
Maybe... Well, what if somebody walks ahead?
Oh man, that is so kind of you to volunteer. I'll take up the back, and you go ahead and just forge ahead. I think Rangram's got the cart under control, and
Rangram is at the tree line and he's smelling one of the trees, and he just shouts back, "Guys, I don't think these were here before." Like really getting in there because this is a new thing for him.
What's
Rangram just smells everything.
Glenn, what's with Rangram sniffing?
Apparently
I
Constable...
forgot that Cosmo has no idea what's going on. I'm just sniffing trees.
Apparently Constable gave him something, and now he likes to smell things. I don't know.
Well, I haven't showered in like weeks. Is he gonna like... What then?
Oh, he knows.
Oh, shoot.
He knows.
Yes, the cats...
I'm gonna let you guys take the helm on this one and do your dwarven tree thing. I'm gonna hang out back here.
I'm a dwarven tree. We live on the ground. We don't...
I don't really know with you guys.
Right, well...
The famous tree dwarves.
Right, well, I'm a hill dwarf. We don't have trees. Them's is the forest dwarf. Forest?
Oh, you're right.
Right.
Killed a couple of those, but that's neither here nor there. I feel like we're gonna have to maybe have a conversation with someone who's maybe a little more powerful than we want to take on. Why don't you hop up to the front, and I'll make sure the group's okay.
Right. Well, I'll walk ahead and see what happens then.
Glenn stays like 30 feet back and is kind of like sneaking from cart to cart just to see what happens. To be close, but like don't want people to know.
So, are you all heading towards the trees, or are you going bypassing them completely?
I think Rangram's in the trees.
So
Rangram,
you're
at the tree line. I wouldn't be like in the thick of it. I just would have like where I realized our campsite was previously. Like these were here before.
So
and he's, like smelling a tree.
Slow down a sec. How far? So we stopped, right? Mm-hmm. We're on the road. The trees are on the right up next to the road.
They're a little bit in. So you found a clearing that was probably about 30 feet into the woods.
Right.
In the past, and so like there was little pathways that led to it. It was definitely an overgrown campsite when you originally encountered it with like moldy old tents.
Right.
So you're a little bit back. You'd have to walk into it. But I mean, these trees are monstrous. So they're very like you feel like you're looking straight. I mean, think redwoods.
Right.
When you're looking straight up at these things next to essentially regular ponderosa pines is what you're looking at.
Guys, we're just looking to walk by this thing, right? We're not really gonna go over there, are we?
Rangram, you're looking up in the you're kind of like smelling this tree, and then you just like hear this like soft tweeting. And you look up and there's this just kind of like a light blue smaller bird, and it's kind of looking at you and tweeting and kind of twitching its head from side to side and just looking at you in just like a branch maybe 10 feet up.
Can I insight check the bird?
I smell the bird.
Yeah, go ahead, roll an insight check.
Like, I just want. Does the bird look sketchy?
Roll me a nature check, actually. I think that's probably a better fit to see if it's not natural.
Nature, I have a big old 0 to that, so that's going to be a natural 11.
Okay. I guess so. Justify insight for me then. You're just trying to see if it's sketchy, if it's acting out of the ordinary.
Well, more or less trying to determine, does it, like, should this bird be out at night? And like it's making eye contact with me.
Yeah, the prolonged eye contact is kind of what's throwing you off. It's becoming a little bit more dawn, and as you can kind of see, like you look back at the carts, some of the people are the Underdark folk are starting to like cover their faces a little bit. It's becoming a little bit uncomfortable. You're lucky enough to have your monocle, but
while Glenn was like kind of following Cosmo to the front, he's like kind of tucking in all the Underdark people, like kind of like closing the canopy over them, so they have like they're under the covers quite literally, but also just looks like the it's just like a flat cart, like it doesn't look like there's really anything in there, so they can like be under the.
So they're just all laying down in the back like human sausage.
They're like sardines. They're basically sardines, but yeah, they're like, I imagine daytime is sleepy time, or at least it hurts. So I'm just like, as I'm coming kind of through, it's like, I'll put your head down, just like tuck them in and then keep walking. And then I'm up front with wherever Cosmo is.
I mean, you've been traveling for about 8 hours at this point. So it's, I mean, or not 8 hours, essentially like almost 12 hours. Like it's coming up on the time. Well, I guess it wouldn't be 12 hours. Anyway, it's been a good extended period of time to, it was dark. It was dusk, and now it is getting to dawn. So that's where we're at. So a little bit more loose-ended there, but Rangram, yeah, you do feel like this is a little bit strange for a bird to be making prolonged eye contact with you, and it's also like it's the bluest bird you've ever seen, and I kind of, as you're looking at it more, you realize that its eyes are also like this piercing blue color, and it's just looking at you.
Hey Glenn, Cosmo, you ever see one of these before?
Have I ever seen one of those before?
Nature check.
Glenn.
Keep reaching for a D20 that doesn't exist anymore.
You unmade it.
Glenn, he's gonna have to stop sniffing at birds. If he's gonna just keep this new thing, he's gonna be. You can't take him into public if he's just gonna be sniffing up on everybody and just calling them out on the trash.
He can be our seeing eye dwarf. I don't know, like
well,
just smell things and get us places.
Well, now he's freaking out at the birds. Like he bought you. Next thing you know, you just.
I mean, in his defense, he might not have ever seen a bird. We don't know how long he's really been up here, right?
Well. What do you
seen birds before? You had that bird for a while, and then it was a hamster, and now it's a bird again.
Right. Well, just.
Oh, you noticed that? That's nice.
Have you ever seen that bird before, Glenn? Just tell him.
With a 10, I'm gonna guess I have not.
No, I think that you don't know whether or not it's because it doesn't exist, or because you just haven't seen it. But you definitely have not seen this particular kind of small bird before.
And you said it was 10 feet away?
It's about 10 feet up in the tree. Yeah, it's just on a branch, kind of.
I guess I'm just being paranoid, and Rangram just goes back to the cart.
It's like, well, I mean, Rangram, we might be onto something. I cast Mage Hand. I try to grab the bird from 10 feet.
Okay, so as you, go for roll me a sleight of hand.
Is that okay? I was like, is that an attack roll with?
Okay, roll for initiative. Yeah. I'm just like,
fight the forest.
36 redwoods.
17 plus 8. That's a 25 to grab a bird.
Okay, so your mage hand jumps into the air and or flies towards this bird, and it tries to fly off, kind of lifts off the branch, and you grab it. And then as you grab it, I believe that the mage hand can only hold 10 pounds of force, correct?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay. So as it's holding onto this bird and lifting it towards you, the bird seems to kind of swell and expand, and then you see this figure that kind of does like almost like a somersault in air, and then lands, but doesn't land. They're sitting cross-legged, floating in the air before you, and what you see is
that's sick.
It is this figure that is made of this like all light blue skin. They have light blue flowing hair, and they have these like light blue piercing eyes, exactly like the bird had. And they're wearing these kind of like yes, it's absolutely Cedric. No, but they're wearing these like long flowing like linen clothing, and they're just kind of floating in the air, kind of cross-legged. And
I told you boys, always a druid.
Well, I
wave with the mage hand directly in front of its face. Like I just tried to grab it, and I'm just like waving like this now.
I was just being paranoid. You guys can handle that one.
Well, didn't see that coming. And I just it's just sitting there in the open air.
Yeah, and strangely enough, her hair seems to be blowing almost like there's wind that doesn't exist. It's just kind of like she's just slowly hovering in the air, and she begins speaking in this voice that is, it's like breathy, but also like slightly echoey, like there's a slight reverb on it. And she says,
"What race is she?"
Roll me a history check, actually. Or would it be nature? You can, if you want to make a.
I don't know.
You may not have encountered this race before.
It doesn't matter.
Sounds like a fake creature that's gonna murder us.
It's a 16. It's
16.
You said nature?
Nature. Yeah, nature would be fine, or history, whichever one.
They're both the same for me, so 16.
Okay. So with the 16, you have not encountered this race before, but you've read about them and you've heard about them, and you would know that this is a genasi. And the fact that they're floating in the air, you know that the genasi are descendants of the jinn or the genies. And so the fact that they're floating in the air leads you to believe that this is probably an air genasi.
I still like mage hands like maybe 5 feet from her face at the most, but it's like waving like, "Hey, nice to meet you."
So
is this your nice big old forest you made here? It was kind of a nice campsite we were planning on using, but looks like you're using it now.
I do not use the forest. I simply exist alongside it, but I am always happy to have newcomers to enjoy it with me as well.
You have sure existed the hell out of this forest. I am impressed. I think we're actually going to head into town. Last time we stayed at this campground, it didn't actually go so well. We were going to warn you, but again, the giant trees make us think that you kind of have a handle on that situation.
I've been spending my time cleansing this part of the forest from the necromantic evil energies that had pervaded it. It seems as though you have some knowledge of this.
I hit Cosmo in the arms like, I met the laughing guys. Yeah, we ran into whatever the hell they are. It's Cosmo, how would you even describe that?
Well, didn't something happen to their eyes?
I mean, their necks, their arms. I think Rangram impaled one of their chests. A lot of things happened.
They certainly seem to lose control of their bodies. They are not of their mind, and they offer this cackling laugh. And when you try to do anything, I was trying to help one. He cut his own head off.
That's a good point. Yeah, we were into a weird situation where they were more interested in killing themselves than us, which was kind of weird. Is that what you mean?
She's just kind of like the entire time you guys are just rambling off this absolute nonsense. She's just kind of tilts her head, just like the bird was doing earlier. I do not know of these guys that you speak of, but the energies from the whatever magic had pervaded them had sickened this part of the forest, and I have cleansed it with my trees. My trees have absorbed their evil energies and have turned them into energy that can be used by goodly creatures.
Well, that energy that you speak of is one that we would like to rid the world of. Do you know anything about it?
Or maybe how to find more of it?
Why would you want to find more necromantic energy?
Do exactly what you're doing.
To dispel it?
I work for the planet itself and for the plane to I do not burden myself with the comings and goings of those of mortals and those of the day to day. I work for the planet itself.
You wouldn't be a captain, would you?
Yeah, you a captain, or maybe a sergeant, probably a captain.
She seems to kind of just like lose interest with what you're talking about, and is just kind of like now like looking up and is just watching the sun come up over the edge of the and then she's like she's still floating, and she seems to be kind of just like floating a little bit higher, but she just is watching the sun at this point come like kind of start cresting over the hill or the trees.
Well, listen, you seem very disinterested in what we have to say. I mean, you asked us to question. We was just trying to answer.
I would love to answer your questions. Would you like to see what I've done? See my works?
Insight check.
Yeah, go for it.
Does she seem evil as fuck? Natural 17. I don't know if I have a bonus to insight.
Check.
Ooh, a dirty 20.
She seems like she doesn't care about what you do, but she is very proud of essentially the situation that this campsite finds itself in now. Is like compared to what it was before. So she seems happy to show off her works, but doesn't seem to really care whether or not you do go and see them or not.
Glenn kind of like, after kind of interpreting that, looks up and goes, "I'm sorry, I don't think we ever caught your name. What was your name, miss?"
My name is Floating Leaf to my friends, and Breaking Branch to my enemies.
Hey.
And what should we call you?
For now, Floating Leaf.
Like the way you talk. Well, Floating Leaf, very, very kind to meet you. We I'm not sure if you saw, but we have a small caravan that needs to make itself to safety. I'm sure you can appreciate that. You gonna be here a while? Maybe we can swing back through and kind of see if we can't maybe get an understanding of how you were able to cleanse that necrotic or necromantic evil and maybe work together.
Yeah, our powers combined in that.
Tap tap love.
Yeah, she kind of like as you're talking to her, she seems to kind of like her eyes are pulled to the carts, and it seems as though you are I'm sensing multitudes of life energies from your caravan, though I cannot see them. Are you what is your purpose here?
Well, we as caravanning, we have many children and elderly. We're taxiing them from in town just down the way, up the road to Whitport.
Are they imperiled?
We are trying to get them to safety. Yes.
Are you so to understand you correctly, you are looking for refuge for these creatures? They I sense from them that they have a different energy than those on the surface. They darker, deeper, more old, more ancient, powerful.
Yes, they Many of them I do not know myself, but most from the Underdark. Yes.
She seems to be kind of like thinking to herself now and is just looking.
I will home them. I will provide them with refuge.
It what? Like forever, or just for the night, or the day?
You said that you seek refuge for these people, these creatures, and I will home them. I will house them. I will provide them with refuge.
Well,
Insight check.
Yeah, do insight check.
Damn it. That's a 9 to figure out if she's gonna eat them.
Captain Planet gonna eat them.
I think that you're having a hard time reading this person. This being. They are way more neutral seeming than you have really ever encountered with normal like beings. Their desires and what they're looking to gain don't make sense to you, especially not to Clint.
Well, Miss Leaf, if I could, what intention? Why would you do such a thing for us mortals?
I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it because this will help the earth. Will help everyone. Follow me, and I'll show you what I can provide them.
Right. Well,
and she just starts. She turns without even waiting for you. She turns and she just literally floating, still cross-legged, is floating down the pathway into the darkness of the trees.
I'll follow.
You're gonna follow? Okay.
Hard fall.
You die.
The miasma, it hits.
Yeah.
Glenn.
Now introducing.
Yeah. Rasmo. Glenn looks back and does it look like any of the Underdark people are dwelling and are awake, or does it look like they all kind of passed out and are hiding in the carts?
Roll me a perception check. See what we got.
Natural
or investigation, I guess.
Plus 6, so 24.
Okay. Yeah, you can see that at least 3 of the carts, there seem to be people peeking over the edge as if they are wondering why they're stopped and still there.
Okay. Just kind of like look over to the group. They're like, guys, we're gonna go talk with our nice friend Floating Leaf. She may have a quicker end to this trip than we had expected, but I'd appreciate if everybody just kind of takes it easy, get some rest, and we'll be back in a little bit. Those driving the carts, if you could just kind of like pull them off to the side for us and go ahead and hunker down, we'll be back soon. And I just kind of like help them kind of move the carts off the dead center of the path, which I'm guessing is where they are right now, and then I follow the guys in.
Well, Glenn, you don't have to come if you don't like. You could stay back. I know you like to sit these things out.
Oh, I mean, what is more of a home than an elf in the woods? I just want to make sure you were involved, Cosmo. And I just like climb up the nearest tree and start hopping from branch to branch, following her little floaty ways.
Cosmo definitely has his weapons out.
Okay. Yeah, that's totally fine. She doesn't, I mean, she's not looking at you and she doesn't seem to be like worried about it by any means. She doesn't have weapons that you can even see at all.
It's the forest. The forest is her weapon.
Rangram, what are you doing?
Rangram is following Cosmo, but like monocle on, like looking at everything, and now just like smelling everything. Like there's a whirlwind of senses happening for him right now.
Dude, nothing smells better than the redwood forest, though. If you haven't been,
it's true.
Go.
But he's in a brand new forest, just smelling stuff. Like, wow.
Yeah, and you're definitely getting that. Like it is, your sense of smell is still like it really is. You probably would be smelling everything with the fact that like it is all new to you. It's like you're smelling, like you're seeing color for the first time through your nose. So as you're kind of following her through this forest, Glenn, jumping from tree to tree, quickly, Glenn, you get to the point where you cannot, you come to the edge of this clearing and you're just looking at these trunks of these trees that are absolutely redwood thickness. They're crazy in scale and scope. But the thing is, they are the same trees, and they look the same. They're just of a monstrous scale.
Do we see any like remnants of the campsite?
You kind of, when you look closely, you can see that like there are the parts of some of the moldy tents and things of that sort are there, but it looks like the places that these people fell, the tattered soldiers fell, these trees have grown directly from where those were. And so sometimes they're a little bit closer, sometimes they're farther away, but there are about 5 trees that are making up this large, like 50-foot radius of massive growth. And I mean, maybe even like Glenn, from your vantage point, you can see like half of a moldy tent like stuck up in like one of the like the lower branches, like it grew from the ground and was picked up with it.
Cool.
But
so it looks like it was a violent like growth of trees ultimately. Like it looked like it just like took everything with it. That's cool.
Yeah, and so as
Lynn's scared.
As Floating Leaf floats herself over to the base of these trees, she kind of unfolds her legs and lightly steps onto the ground and just turns back to face you.
They're the powers that were in these dudes, as you called them. It was of extremely necromantic, and it is relatively the antithesis of what it is, the power of death. And I try to bring the power of life to this world, and to try to maintain a balance. And the scale of these trees, what was necessary to purify that evil. And as you can see, these are some of the largest that I have been allowed to create with my druidic magic. The reason that I offer to house these beings that these lost souls that you've brought here is, and I whether or not you take my offer is completely up to you, but I feel as though this place, to finalize its purification, would be to bring, there's life here now where there was death, but to bring a level of continued life and happiness that could only be done by beings living in it. And even as of yet, the life has not returned to this forest.
And as you're kind of like looking around, you're seeing like and you noticed it before when you were here, there's like literally an absence of any animals. There's nothing that's in this area. And she kind of like, and she just like looks back at you and goes, let me show you what I can offer. And she takes her hand and places it, she takes it in a sweeping motion and just places it against the ground. And you see this bluish green, almost like this sea foam energy kind of shoot from her, and it goes down into the ground and kind of illuminates and then goes up into the trees, and you see them start to kind of twist and shape, and these crude openings begin opening up, and holes start opening up in the trees themselves, and then you see them going up, and the parts of the tree that are being pulled out from the centers are almost spiraling around the outside, creating walkways, and is creating this like very elaborate level of tree sculpting that probably, Glenn, you're not a wood elf, but you would have heard this from like wood elven structures, where they essentially use nature and druidic magic to create structures within, like living structures within trees. Yeah. And without hurting the trees themselves, they're doing it within the natural order. And you're like probably all watching this with like a level of like, what the fuck? You've never seen this kind of magic performed. And that probably wowed a little bit and in awe of this being that is doing this. And after a kind of short period of time or long period of time, it's kind of hard to tell with kind of a spectacle of this sort. These 5 trees have become this kind of interwoven almost like kind of tree houses, kind of walkways, but there's these openings and walkways and connections that are going between all these trees. And she just kind of like, she seems like this has definitely taken something out of her, and she resumes her floating in the air, but she's just looking up at the trees and doesn't say anything.
Well, Miss Leaf, I don't really know you. Currently have no reason not to trust you, but I mean, I suppose if with such an amazing offer, I'll leave it up to the people then. And
That's a fair assessment.
would you like to meet them?
I certainly.
What?
Glenn scales one of them to like the first set of awnings and just starts building like little mini rope ladders, and like just starts like, doesn't sound like there were stairs, so he's gonna start making ways for people to get up. Well, Cosmo goes and gets them.
Yeah,
Full
and
force mood of Endor at this point.
100%. And that's kind of the feel you're getting. And like where there's been openings in the trees, they don't like go down. There's no like big holes through the trees. It's like they've hollowed out one section of it. Think of like when the redwoods have been hollowed out to be able to drive through, but then the walkway comes out from that. And then, and then it kind of spirals down to another part of the tree. So it's this natural kind of curving from opening in tree to a curving pathway to the next one. And the entire thing's like the moss is still on this tree, like the lichen, everything that's growing on it is still natural. The inside is still barked. It's this extremely, like, it could not be created in any other way but magic. Yeah, so as Glenn is kind of working on this tree, Floating Leaf is kind of just moving around and inspecting and just doing minor adjustments on different parts of the tree, and it's seeming to like actually create like almost waves her hand, and like there's fungus growth on this tree and different things, and she seems to be like, maybe things that don't make sense to you, but to her, she seems to be creating some sort of like balance or doing more work to make this, to perfect this, that, to whatever perfect means to her.
Well, while she's kind of doing that, and Glenn's make little like rope knots and kind of like hanging them down. It's like Floating Leaf, all this generosity. It's really quite welcoming in a world so harsh. What is there anything we can do for you? I mean, this type of favor doesn't go unpaid, and we're aware. What do you, I guess, get out of this, or is there something we can do to help? Such an amazing generosity. Cosmo, I think, would be remiss if he didn't offer some kind of services.
As I've said before, I'm not doing this for you or for anything. The protector imbues me with the power to help others and to protect those and the natural order, and I do that.
Oh, interesting. You must have been recently imbued with some power then. About 50 years ago or so.
I have, due to my lineage, I've always been graced with power. But my abilities to heal the planet and to create this level of change and impact does come from the deity known as the Protector, who has been graceful enough and gracious enough to imbue me with this and allow me to do so.
I've met the Protector. He's a hell of a guy. Big angry guy. Did you ever meet him yourself?
I have not. I cannot say that I have been graced with a meeting. I assume and I aspire to hopefully meet him at the end.
Good guy. Hell of a hugger. Next time I see him, I'll put in a good word for you. This is really an incredible thing you're doing for some weary travelers who just lost a home to something terrible, and for you to do something so generous, it really is quite unheard of.
I am happy to help, and happy to bring life back to where there wasn't.
By then, I'm guessing the people are there.
Yeah, or we can just keep
Cosmo,
having.
you're bringing them over. Is
Right.
that happening or no?
Right. So yeah. So Cosmo would get to the people and they were safe.
Yeah, I mean, other than the ones that have been just ravaged by that owl bear that you guys didn't hear attack them all, like they were in the carts while they were all sleeping. No, I'm kidding. No, yeah,
I
you
would have smelt it.
We heard the blue bird, but we didn't hear the owl bear.
Only
Right.
if the owl bird had dealt it. That's the only way you would have smelled it. So you get back to the carts, and you can still see some people peeking over the edge of the carts, but you're able to. I mean, it's getting pretty bright. Are you moving the carts into the shadow of the trees, or are you just kind of having them throw the blanket over themselves and move into the trees?
Probably be more along the lines of, there's something I want you guys to see. It could be a place of your own to call home, have refuge, and I'd like for see it. And I mean, did it seem like it was somewhere that I could pull the carts into?
You're not wearing a trench coat or anything, right? Because that might put them on edge with that kind of speech.
Hey, you want to go
Hey.
look at this?
I have something I really want you to see. It's going to change your life. Okay.
It's like, do I need to offer him candy? Like, what are you?
No, the white van was plenty. So no, I'll say that they kind of like shield their eyes and they follow you into the woods. And
because it got pretty dark fairly quick, right?
Oh yeah. Within the tree line, it's dark enough. It's at least enough where it's not causing them like physical harm to have their eyes open. Right. But yeah, so they as they're walking into the tree line, you can see that just as you were inspired or awe-inspired when you saw this, like they are absolutely taken aback. Not only have they not seen anything like this before, but like maybe outside of like the drow cities and their buildings that are built into the stalactites down there and those kind of like underdark dwellings, like the massive civilizations that exist down there. These things are some of the largest things they've ever seen.
Well, guys, this is Floating Leaf, and yeah, she has offered to give you guys all safe refuge here and a home in the trees, in the dark and cover, and would be your own place.
Floating Leaf, just from kind of floating maybe 15 feet above the ground, kind of over by, with still this like she looks like Dr. Manhattan essentially with this like crazy floating hair. But so kind of intimidating a little bit, almost has a deity kind of scope to her as it is, but she just looks at them all and opens her arms and kind of bows slightly and says,
"From the graces of the Protector, you are welcome to stay here if you wish, and make it your own."
What did they say?
They
what does each and every one of them say?
Each and every one of them.
Floating Leaf.
Who probably
their response?
Oh no, not again.
Remember,
guys.
There's 30 of them, so if you could.
They all melt and turn to ash immediately, and then a bunch of trees come out of them. They kind of look at the three of you almost as if like, is this real, kind of thing. And you see the dark elf woman who has the burn scars kind of look at you, and if she could give you an insight check, she would absolutely be doing so right now.
Wait,
just kind
what?
of trying to the three of you. Absolutely the three of you. Like she's just looking, like they're looking at you all like, what is this legitimate? Like this is almost like is this too good to be true kind of situation.
Do you want me to roll insight against it? Is that what you're looking?
No.
You're just looking for like.
What do you say? Yeah, what do you say to them? What do you say to quell their fears or whatever? Or
Well,
do you?
I'm probably gonna stay unless these two give me a reason not to. You say this?
If you don't come with them and kill your daughter.
You're gonna do that anyways, but I probably should be there to make sure you
why
don't.
do you gotta like absolutely just like air dry our problems out to these people?
Speaking of air dry, Cosmo, pay you.
Oh my god.
Rangrim, I'm about to send you back to the cart, or I'm gonna put you back on a leash.
Leash. You said you weren't gonna tell anyone about that.
See me dance with my god, you make fun of me, but what you guys are doing, leashes in the room's on you. Glenn looks to the stressed out drow and says, hey, I think you've got only so many opportunities on the surface. This is going to give you the protection from, at least from visuals. I mean, you guys are going to have to do your job to keep it quiet and become a part of this surface world. It's different. It's scary. I'm sure Ranger can give you guys some pointers on best practices and how to interact with people in a healthy and respectable manner. That's Rangrim's specialty. But I think you can't look a gift like this in the mouth, and you got to take this one and do whatever Floating Leaf's got for you for the next few days, and pray to God you don't become, or she doesn't turn to Breaking Branch.
Yeah, is there anyone else that's doing any kind of convincing?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Yeah, so with that, Floating Leaf doesn't really say anything else. She seems to be distracted again by like this small bug that's on the tree, and is just kind of like letting it crawl over her hand at this point. It's just like completely lost interest in whatever's going on. And the Underdark, like the people, the refugees who you had saved from, down underneath the surface, they kind of slowly just start making their way over and inspecting these structures, and like after kind of through just like over time, just looking at these things, and like you can tell that they are like they're scared for sure. Like this is not only is this world extremely alien to them, but like they are trained at this point from just bad things happening to them over and over again, that like something good like this happening without it costing them everything is something that they're not used to. And so though they're not comfortable with it, they just like Glenn said, like, not looking a gift horse in the mouth, like they slowly start walking their way up and inspecting the structure. And after a bit of time, you can see that you all are just standing down there as most of them have made their way up and are just kind of walking along the planks, and like they're maybe 20-30 feet up at this point for some of them, and are just inspecting the structure. And you actually, when you look over, you do not see Floating Leaf anymore, and you are just, the three of you are standing down kind of on the floor while these people are just checking the structure out.
Do I see the blue bird anywhere?
Do a perception check, actually. And I'll give you advantage on it because you've already seen it before.
Oh, I got a natural 8 and then a natural 20. So
yeah, I'll say that kind of higher up in the branches, you see this little blue bird, and then you see it kind of tilt its head, and then it just kind of flies off above the tree level.
As it's flying away, I yell out, "Hey, Floating Leaf! Did you see that tavern known by a free genie? It's called the Gin and Juice." And it just flies away.
Okay, you're not casting on it. No. Just hideous laughter on it. Okay. Awesome.
I was a little concerned that you were about to literally
respond at all.
No. You don't get anything back, but you can feel good knowing that you feel like they hurt you.
I like to Cosmo. I'm like, she didn't get it.
Well, let's be thankful for that, because that was a doozy.
Before we head out, I want to talk to the drow lady with the burn mark. Seems like she's kind of taking charge.
Yeah, so I'll let you use that perception check, and you can see that she's been setting kind of seems like she's been inspecting one of the first levels you went on to when you were kind of setting up those rope ladders and whatnot. And she seems to have kind of laid her pack and her belongings down and is just kind of sitting with her one of her legs kind of over the edge and the other one kind of up towards your chest, and is just looking down at you as you kind of hail her.
It's a hell of a new home, right? From under the ground to now above the ground. You guys have just completely skipped that land dwelling altogether. I'm impressed.
This is absolutely way more than I was expecting in pretty much every aspect. I have not seen structures of this sort since the great city of Menzo Baranzan.
Ah, good old Menzo with the craps tables. It's nice.
There's a lot of crap there for sure these days.
Well, we're glad you guys have found somewhere nice, but I don't think I ever actually made acquaintance. My name's Glenn Yaris. Nice to meet you. I'd extend a hand to shake hers.
My name's Kedek.
Kedek, it's wonderful to meet you. I mean, I'm sure you've seen we've got a little bit of travel bug among the three of us, and we'll be probably passing through town. We hope to, make it back one day and see you guys really becoming a part of what it means to be on the surface. But I want you to take those carts. Those are your guys's. We don't need them anymore. It's too much travel for a group of three. But if I can make a request, there's going to be a young man that passes through here in the next few weeks. His name's going to be Doss, and he's going to have a plan for those carts as payment for finding you a home and getting you to safety. If you could just follow his instruction, there's going to be some building to his specifications, maybe some painting, but he will not lead you astray. If you could just go ahead and just consider whatever task he needs you to do as payment for us getting you here, we'll call it even. Also, don't tell Cosmo and Rangram I said that.
Sure.
Well met, Kedek, and I just shake her hand. I just hop off, just drop down to the guys.
Cool. Yeah.
Land next to him, pat him on the back. It's like, well, boys, where to next?
Where did
you couldn't smell him coming?
ha 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 ha! I still don't figure out how these things work. So no.
Right. Well, I guess that was easy. Do we still go the rest of the way to Whitport, or do we go back?
I mean, unless you guys really wanted to go talk to Cecil.
I mean, we're getting close.
Actually,
say Poe fly back.
Yes, as you're having this conversation, you see like a form, this like dark shape of Poe swoop down and land on your shoulder as it drops a rolled parchment into your open hand.
I open it and I read it.
I'm so glad you guys are coming back. I have found so much out. Please, I have been dying to talk to you. Please, I get here as fast as you can.
I'm reading that and kind of eyes wide a little bit and looks at Rangram's like, yeah, we're definitely gonna go see our boy Cecil.
Well, I guess that's it. Off we go then. Now we have all these empty carts on the road. What now? Did we buy those?
Those were generously donated by yours truly to the kind folk of this new town that we've set up. We should probably give this town a name. I mean, this is a homestead. What do you want to call it?
Well, that's for another day, I think.
Isn't that kind of like their thing?
That's kind of their job.
They live there.
They may not even want it to have a name.
Oh, I got one. The Forest Moon of Endor.
It's not a moon. It is a forest. I don't know what Endor is.
But,
it works.
Well, let's call it the Lost Leaf.
Can I recommend a name?
Well, you're the
No, it's fine. I literally just thought of a cool name, but Lost Sleep is totally good.
No,
Let's see if Kedek comes up with a name later then.
Right, I don't care.
That's
You can
true.
call it whatever
That's
you
true.
want. I just
No. You guys have called it Lost Leaf. That is your name.
I'm calling it indoor.
I'm gonna call it Steve. Let's go,
I
boys.
call it outdoor.
well let's leave these cards to them then, shall we? That way we don't have to hold them along.
I'll say that you're able to like get them out of the kind of like out of underneath the tree line, so that they're at least in the shade and
Somewhat.
Like, yeah, and you've already told Kedek about the carts, and so that way they're able to, instead of going out into the sun, they're able to like collect the carts and put them below the trees in the old encampment.
I hop in the driver's seat of our cart.
Nice. Is it the original? I guess it was on the original cart. You bought a new cart.
Yeah.
It's the updated model. It's got
2.0.
It's got the cup holders and things.
Have we discussed what's pulling these carts?
It only
These
has 2
horses?
cup holders though, not 3. One of us has to hold our cup.
What do you want to be pulling this cart?
I know what I want to be pulling the cart, but I don't think they have that in our town. So I'm gonna wait.
I think before you all had a like kind of a dappled pony, like a dappled horse.
It's true. Wait,
Can
of
Rangram,
all...
can Rangram take the one cart that's pulled by like it's like the one mule that they had? Everything else.
Oh yeah.
Rangram's got the one with the mule. It's a little slower.
But it's
personality.
sturdy.
We was only gonna take the one.
So you took the mule cart.
Yeah.
Oh, you're taking 2? You had 2 carts?
Yeah, Rangram's got a really cute little donkey pulling it.
Why don't... Okay. Wait, do we want 2 carts, or should we just make that the cart?
Why don't we just
That
make
can
it
be the cart.
Okay, we're taking that one. You're Rangram's like... So when Glenn's
I
going
like this
to
one,
find...
and he's just petting the donkey,
like,
and then like
I feel
smelling
like
it really closely.
There's this gorgeous thoroughbred, like this Clydesdale that can like just go like 90 miles per hour. It's got Pegasus wings, and he's like, I want the dog.
it's like picking
I think we might
like
have made a decision.
carts
Cosmo.
at the bumper cart.
And you pick the sick one. I love it. What is its this is the most important question that we've had all day. What is the donkey's name?
Ooh, that's
Do we need to get back to that?
Nope.
I think we're gonna have.
Nope. It's gotta be right now.
It's got to be right now.
Gotta be right now.
Frederick.
You guys gonna before I just blurt something out, and then it's gonna be canon.
I like the idea
pressure.
that like you guys ask Rangram what the name of the pony is, or what the name of the donkey is, and then he just kind of goes silent. He's just staring and just like.
Let's think about this on the ride, shall we? Everybody in the cart now. Let's go.
As I like kind of yaw our new donkey friend of mine, I looked at him, just like, just follow your nose, man. What does he smell like to you?
Kind of like Cosmo.
That's probably Cosmo. Should we name our donkey Cosmo?
Spelled differently.
As we're moving, we're making our way to Whitport, but
yeah,
we're deciding the name of this donkey.
Well, at least change something. If
Cosmo, I got you on this one. Rangram,
Jasmo. That's a good little Jasmo.
Never mind, Cosmo. It's Jasmo.
Right. Well, then, cheers.
We got Pedro in chat.
Pedro.
Oh, Pedro the donkey is like a wonderful name though.
We're on the road.
Yeah. So
not quickly, but we're moving.
So you're at a very steady and reliable pace. You're going down this road. You didn't I assume that you guys were kind of taking turns sleeping through the night time, like as you were traveling, or no, you guys just all stayed up? Okay. So
I'll take that point of exhaustion.
Yeah, at this point you all would have a point of exhaustion. But you
don't even know what the hell that means.
Oh, it's bad things.
You gonna learn today.
Because I would
You
definitely not like to take that.
I mean, I think that it would have been fine for at least one of you to sleep without having to have
Perfect.
done any checks.
Dibs.
If you want to. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, well, I mean, Rangram and Glenn were having that conversation the entire time, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, well, you were supposed to be
sleeping.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out what the donkey's name is.
While you're trying to defend the back of the carts, you were just sleeping. You're that guy on the back of a tandem bicycle that doesn't pedal. You're like, oh, yep, I got it.
If I'm gonna do all the lifting, I may as well skip some parts.
So at this point, you're the three of you are all awake because Cosmo did his sleeping earlier, and the two of you just took your point of exhaustion. But you maybe a couple hours down the road, or actually a little farther than that. You're almost a couple hours away from Whitport, and so you're getting pretty comfortable with the fact that like this is going to be a pretty easy journey. You start seeing about looks like a couple forms that are moving your way towards the road, like down the road.
Like they're on the road they're walking towards us.
Exactly.
Do we recognize them?
Rangrim, can you smell them?
Roll me a perception check for all of you, and then Rangram, I believe, has. Is it only once per day? I don't remember if it's. Only once per day.
At this point,
you actually. I've been smelling everything, but you did actually send me the stat block for this item.
Everything's. I don't know. It can't be that broken. Regardless, the joke is canon.
So you have advantage on perception checks that rely on ability checks that rely on smell. But if you want to follow the red vapor, you can only do that once per day.
Yeah, so I can actually like follow a direct scent. Okay.
So essentially now Glenn has super hearing, you have super smell, which is
good.
Amazing combo.
We have disadvantage on checks, by the way, Dan.
Right. So you would be
1 point of exhaustion, correct? Disadvantage on all skill checks.
So you're even then. No advantage on your perception then.
I got a 13 for 12. Sorry, 12 on mine.
23 on mine.
Okay. So that makes a lot of sense. So Glenn, your hearing isn't picking really much up. You just hear kind of heavier footfalls. But you do see, both of you would see, especially Rangram, but you can see like there is definitely armor, like kind of like polished armor that's glinting off of some of these figures, and off the one in the front. And then Rangram, you would be picking up that there is a kind of this is very strange for like the smell, but like there are some of them that smell like very freshly, like it's a combination then of smells that are kind of wafting towards you, but some of them are like very cleanly, almost like a soap smell, and then some of them seem to be a lot more like body odory smells, but there's like a really kind of like mix, which gives you the feeling that there are more than like two people there.
Well, I can smell a couple people, Cosmo. One of them washes better than even the elf does.
Well,
he just puts on a thing. Smells all florally.
Cologne.
Right. I don't shower.
Cologne.
He covers himself in flowers, so I'll live with that.
That's a good name for the donkey. Cologne.
Right. That's good. So, right. I smell like cologne too.
I get it.
Very good. Very good.
How far are they?
Are you continuing down the road towards them?
Yeah. How far are they?
Okay, so they're probably closing within 50 feet at this point.
I'm gonna pull the dagger that I got from Regalia. I'm gonna keep it like in my sleeve, but it's like kind of hidden, sitting up front.
Okay. And you're just continuing.
Oh, I'm driving the cart. Never mind. I can't do that. Never mind. I'm like this. So never mind.
Okay.
From 50 feet, like what do we see?
So from 50 feet, if you want to roll your perception, Cosmo, now at this point.
Sure. It is a 15.
Okay. You notice that the person in front, you now can see clearly that there are three figures. There are two taller figures, and then in the middle there is a shorter figure that seems to be walking a little bit like more of like a hobble, like a shuffle, like they're impeded in some way. And the person in front is very clearly wearing some sort of imperial garb that is above the rank of soldier, just based on their level of mail and armor.
And they're walking towards us just on foot?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I mean, rolling up to them, like, we stop? Glenn, should we stop and say hello?
I was gonna say, man, anybody that shiny in the street, is gonna get my attention. And I like to start to like slow up Cologne and like, here, girl, easy. And I'm like easing her up, and I kind of hand over the reins to Ranger. I'm like, drive your lady for a little bit, and I'm gonna hop to the side of the cart that is the opposite side of where they're walking. So if they're like coming up on this side, I'm gonna be to the back side of it. I'm not trying to hide that I did it. I just went to that side. I'm walking next to
yeah, so as you're doing that, you're noticing too that they're starting to give you more of a wide berth. They're staying pretty far to the opposite side to stay as far away from your cart as possible while not being off the path. And as they're getting closer, you're noticing that there is a very tall, that Glenn you would recognize as a high elf. They're taller, blonde hair that's pulled back into kind of a tight bun, and they are wearing kind of like, it's a combination of like chainmail and leather with the half cloak thrown over their shoulder in the kind of like the dark purple of the Empire. And the figure in the middle of them is a dwarf who is not having a good time. Their face is very, very bruised and is definitely like broken nose, like blood is coming down a little bit. Their eyes are very swollen. And they are wearing what looks like kind of what the clothing would be underneath armor. It's very, very like just very sweaty and very dirty. And they're shackled arms, their hands and their legs are shackled, and they're kind of walking, and their mouth is covered. And the person behind them is a human who is holding a bow and had it trained on the back of the figure that they're walking, but is now has kind of like, they're still kind of aiming at the figure, but they're looking at all of you. And the high elf figure approaches, and it doesn't approach, as they're walking, kind of slows down while they're at least 10 feet away. And
do I recognize what type of high elf it is? Is it like one of my people, or is it a different?
No, it would not be a Valinor. You would know that this is of some other high elf like upbringing, different than the Valinor. Not as much of a warring, much more of like a civilized kind of I guess upbringing from this one. Seems like they kind of carry themselves with a lofty demeanor, and even though they've been walking down this road, don't look like whether or not their clothing is imbued with some sort of magic to not get dirty, but they don't seem very dirty. They seem very clean. And they just
Go ahead.
You what's your purpose? We are just passing through. Don't what is your purpose on the road today?
Well, I mean, we're just passing through as well. But
are you bringing some sort of trade? Are you headed to Whitport?
Maybe. We're headed up the road. Where are you headed?
I don't think that's any of your concern. My name is Sergeant Ravafel, and we are transporting this prisoner. But don't you worry about it. Don't you pay it any mind. Just go about your business.
Transporting by foot? That's a tad odd, isn't it?
It's not my desired way of travel, no. But we're not making our way very far. We're headed to. I don't know why I'm telling you this, but we're headed over to Tin Town to house this individual. But
well, that's actually my town. And
literally, it's quite literally his town.
Well, that's right. My name is Cosmo Stoneheart. I oversee a mining company in that town.
Stoneheart Mining Company.
Stoneheart Mining Company.
Thank you,
Constable
gentlemen.
Rangrim here for you as well.
I apologize, but I've not heard of the Stoneheart Mining Company. We're simply just transporting this prisoner. We have business there, but like I said, I'm not gonna hold you up anymore. Continue on your way. And we'll do the same.
Well, I just had a quick question before you head out, Sergeant. I mean, you're taking a dangerous prisoner into my employer's town. We're due at least to know why. What kind of crime has he committed? We have, I have family there. I got a daughter there. I don't want to risk that.
Persuasion.
Oh shit.
Or actually deception.
Double shit.
It would be persuasion from Cosmo, deception from Glenn.
Oh, you got this, Glenn. Guidance.
Sure, go for it.
Oh wow. I'll take it. It's not much better. It's an 11.
Oh, my persuasion is you're so fucked. It's a 24.
Oh, Jesus. Yay.
I'm at a +7. That's where I come out strong.
Okay, so I'll say that maybe you're able to produce some sort of proof that you are like something that you got from the Boulder Fist Mining Company.
I do still have the seal on.
There you go. So let's say that you're able to show the signet ring, and with that, whether or not they know what it is, they're kind of like, okay, I don't, whatever. It doesn't. They kind of seem to like they're just at this point. The person in the back with the bow is actually getting a little bit nervous, and they're kind of like not, it has not been drawn on you yet, but they're definitely kind of looking more at you and looking around like ready for some trouble because they're not used to being stopped on the road, and this is like they're outnumbered. So they Sergeant Rabafel just listen, I don't know whether or not that's fine. The seal, it's great. This prisoner is not essentially a dangerous prisoner, but they are part of the rebellion in the north, and we are taking them to Constable Hunter, who is in town to investigate and to question them. I am simply a sergeant in the Empire. I am below Constable Hunter in rank. I'm simply just doing my duty to transport them to the town. I don't know whether or not you're telling the truth with your level of.
You're under Constable Hunter's orders.
Yes, Constable Chev. Very good friends.
I'm not under Constable Hunter's orders, but I have been tasked with bringing this because he is one of the best investigators the Empire has. He's going to be questioning this individual who, as you can see, is a little bit stubborn, and kind of as he turns around and like gives this dwarf a glare, his tone like kind of gets stern there for just a second, which is seemingly out of character for them. But if you don't mind, we are going to be heading on our way. I assume that if you're going to be heading back to Tin Town, I've been there once. It's not a very small town, nor will I be spending much of my time there because it doesn't really hold the let's just say level of status or fun that I find enjoyable. But we will be leaving them there. So if you are as close and as powerful in the town as you say, you will likely be encountering them or can talk to Constable Hunter about it in more detail. But with that, good day.
Do we recognize the dwarf?
You do not recognize the dwarf, but the dwarf is absolutely like making pleading eyes at all of you as they're walking by through their very, very swollen face.
I'll roll an insight check to see if to see if he's lying to me.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Is that what it is? Insight?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Oh, hell yeah. It's a 19.
Awesome. Yeah, you can tell that they are they're not lying to you. They've been tasked with they've caught this prisoner, whether or not they caught it or they were given them or whatever, but they're being tasked with something that they think is underneath them, very much beneath them, to take this prisoner on foot to Tin Town, to a town that clearly they are from a much more lofty level of society in their head, whether or not that's actually true or not. And all they want to do is get this person to Constable Hunter and get the fuck out of there and go back to wherever they deem more worthy of their status.
Right.
Well, Sergeant, just sorry. Go ahead, Constable Rangrim.
Let me interject for a moment. I'm in good standing with the constable, being a constable myself. Here, take this, and it's gonna hand them the writ or the piece of paper that Constable Hunter gave them and said, "We could take this prisoner into custody for you, seeing as this is so beneath you."
Yeah. So I assume at this point you've probably broken the seal and read what that note would have said, the endorsement, or no?
Nope.
Okay,
Going in
cool.
blind. Yeah. Yeah, boy.
Roll me a persuasion check with advantage on this.
Oh my god, it's gonna be like kill on
Natural
sight.
20.
Oh,
Yes.
fuck.
Natural 20. Oh, right when I need it.
He
What did we
like
get
looks over at
ourselves
this
in?
seal and sees that Constable Hunter's seal is on it and it's unbroken, and then also looks over and sees that you have the sigil of, like, which I believe, I think you, like, let's just say you have it visible in some place.
Yeah, I would have had it. I had it like pinned on my apron.
Yep.
He's
So
very
he
proud.
sees that and just goes, great, go for it. That is absolutely take him off my hands. Now, if he doesn't get to Constable Hunter, I'm going to be reporting that. And what are your names?
Jeffrey.
Breaking. It's BRAKING. Breaking Branch. It's a family name. I know it's weird.
Well,
You're an odd high elf. I don't think I've seen any of your. Where do you hail from?
my
So
name
it's
is
breaking
Cosmo.
with a B.
Cosmo Stoneheart.
Oh yeah,
And,
it was Stoneheart Mining Company.
What? Thank you. If you need anything, we'll be sure to deliver the prisoner to Constable with haste.
I appreciate that. Now, what were you saying? Breaking Branch?
Breaking with a B. It's some people use the hidden J, but it's actually a B.
Okay. Were you elaborating, or was that it?
No. I just want to make sure you had the spelling right when you reported it up the chain to the other
Yes.
super kind individuals like yourself.
Of course. No, that is great. And he just goes, and he kind of just like, he kind of grabs the dwarf by the scruff of the shirt and kind of shoves him over your way, probably a little bit harder than he needed to. And the dwarf kind of stumbles and kind of falls onto his knees, and he goes, "He's your problem now." And they continue down the road.
Do they keep walking towards Tin Town, or do they turn back towards Whitport and we're all walking the same direction?
No. They're walking. They're still walking towards. They're still walking towards Tin Town.
I thought we were gonna do that awkward, like, goodbye, and just keep going.
Like, goodbye, and then walk next. Well, we have the horse.
No.
We would just leave him in our...
We have a donkey. Probably not that fast.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, they still walk down that way, but that
God.
road leads a bunch of different places, so they may not be going to Tin Town anymore.
So I walk over to the dwarf they just like kind of threw to the ground. I kind of pick him up and I dust him off a little bit, and I'm like, you look
nice.
a little worse for wear. We might be able to help you out with that. And then, like, as I'm kind of like helping him get up into the cart, I look over to Cosmo and Rangram, like, is that what I look like? Because that guy was an asshole. Is that the general vibe my people give off? Because that just seems not right.
Well,
that guy didn't smell as good.
Ah, thank you, man. And he just gets in the cart and like accepts it.
So to give it, like, I know that we're running kind of short on time here, so but I do want to get I do want to get to a certain point. So we might run a little bit long, but not too long if that's
fine.
okay. So the dwarf is like I said, beaten to absolute shit. Not in the place where he's like dangerous on health or anything of that sort, but just like red long, like kind of flowing hair, and that's very much a mess at this point, and like a red beard that's like down into 4 different pretty thick stout beard lengths that seem to be bound with metal, and their mouth is still bound at this point, but they're just kind of like looking at you all in like surprise, like that, like how the fuck did that work kind of thing, and is like kind of starting to laugh underneath his through his like mouth covering.
Well, guys, I don't know why you got us into this odd circumstance of having a now prisoner. Is he in irons?
He's in irons, and you did not have the key, as far as you know.
That's
you did
fine.
not get a key from them.
I don't.
We always around that.
I don't. I would rather him stay in it at this point.
I figure we could save ourselves a trip. He just look at those puppy dog eyes. He looks so fragile.
Well, I appreciate the compassion
I'm
showing
I'm trying to take a
dwarf.
page from your book. I'm trying to learn that, kindness is reciprocated with gold. Am I getting that right?
No, you was way off. You way off.
Diamonds?
No. Are we moving yet? Why isn't this cart moving?
Are
yet?
you moving? Yeah, are you guys moving?
Let's carry on.
Yeah, the cart's moving while we're having this whole.
Okay.
Should we just kill him? Is that what you're saying?
No.
The dwarf is like,
Cosmo, you gotta help me. I'm not very good at this good thing
Well,
yet. I'm trying.
shaking his head like absolutely like, don't do that. Don't kill me. Don't do that.
We keep on to Whitport. Keep on keeping on.
After probably about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, you see that Whitport is coming up and you're gonna be entering essentially the front of the town pretty quickly.
Do we see anybody greeting us in town? I would say straight to Cedric's.
Yeah. So nope. I mean, you don't see anyone that's kind of meeting you at the town, like at the town gates, like Cedric did originally. But as I guess actually by the time you're getting here, it would have been, but I guess it would be noonish around that time. So things are definitely bustling. And as you're passing through the town, which is like this, it's a pretty small but like quaint fishing village that's seems to be mostly populated by fishermen who are kind of traveling, and it's seasonal very much. And so as you're passing through, you actually see, and we'll keep this brief for brevity's sake, but you actually see you're passing through. Actually, Bobby, do you have the Whitport map? You can pop up that way.
Yeah.
Facing the brand new Whitport map.
Whitport.
Yeah, so you can see you're passing by, but on the left-hand side of the town, and you're passing into it, and you're passing by location 4, which is the market, or where you initially encountered the butcher shop. And so as you're passing through that, you actually see what looks like James is standing behind the where you originally ran into Joseph in his butcher shop. And you can see that James is sitting behind there and looks very surprised to see you all pass by, and doesn't really say anything. Is just like, as you all pass by on the cart.
We wave. Hello, James.
And so you continue to pass through the town, and
what? Cat's got your tongue?
Hello, hi. What? And you're like still going. He's like,
keep going.
What are you doing here? And like, what are you doing?
Don't kill anyone.
Yeah.
Right,
so you pass through the town, and you're able to make your way over to Cedric's pretty quickly, and without really encountering anyone else. And so like as you're kind of setting the cart up just out in front of Cedric's house on his little island house over on location 7 on the map, but just kind of separated from a little bit from the town. You see Cedric sitting on the porch.
As we're approaching him, or as we kind of bring it to a halt,
As you're approaching him,
I double down on the knots on our shackled friend. Say,
okay.
They're irons, aren't they?
Or
yeah, they're irons on his feet and his hands.
I take a rope and just really bound him to the cart and say,
okay,
don't you go anywhere. And you can't go anywhere. It's okay. And I start walking over to
Don't-
Cedric. How the hell are you?
Yeah, I would just say, don't make me reconsider the killing option.
Sounds like you.
I'll roll for intimidation on that.
Yeah, his eyes go. Yeah, roll for intimidation on that.
It's a 19.
He just pisses himself.
Yeah, I mean, his eyes just kind of go wide. I mean, it's kind of hard to intimidate a dwarf, but he just kind of like, he knows you're serious and just kind of nods like solemnly, like, I get it. He's not afraid, but he's like, I trust that you'll kill me.
I'm sorry, I didn't have as much of a plus to that. It's only a 16. But,
okay, they're a little bit less intimidated. They're like, he might do it.
I happened to tab over and I was like, oh, I'm not.
So are we at Cedric's house? Did we bring the cart down that bridge and everything?
Yep, exactly. Same place you parked it before, just in front of his house.
Okay, so Rangrim is gonna hop off the cart and like look at the dwarf and I'm gonna stand in the open doorway of Cedric's, keeping an eye on the.
I don't know if we're
gentleman.
going in yet. He's on the porch.
Yeah.
Oh, he's on the porch. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, come on in. I have so much. I did find something, and he kind of like is just like hops down from his seat on the porch, and where he was like carving this little like wooden figure, and kind of sets it down. It's like halfway carved. You can't really tell what it is right now. But he hops down and just kind of like goes inside and is holding the door for you.
Well,
follow him in.
Rangrim, since you have acquired this addition to our group, you get to be the one to watch him.
I actually if any of you all could actually, this is going to particularly pertain to Rangrim. I need to ask him a question.
Well, then I'll stay.
Well, boys, you want to watch this?
I mean,
do we know his name? What's your name?
I'm not going to take your cart. Why are you being so weird?
Don't worry about it, Cedric.
No one's going to take your cart.
We got it. There's a guy on it, and he's totally an upset.
Bring him in.
Well,
invite him in. I mean, we have tea in here. We have so much stuff.
Cedric.
Well, we're gonna see if he wants tea, and Rangrim's gonna bring him off the cart
in shackles.
On the rope.
So Cedric's eyes just kind of go wide and doesn't say anything as you kind of bodily carry this other dwarf that's shackled into his house.
Don't say
threshold.
Cedric, don't say I didn't offer to stay outside.
He did say that.
I don't even.
Don't ask. It's better off.
This is Jeff.
I'm not asking any questions. Okay, listen. And he's like, he kind of shuts the door behind you and goes in.
Cedric, before you dive into anything, we need to. We have prying ears in the room now. Thank you, Rangrim.
He said no one's gonna steal the cart. I was worried about the cart, but I mean, Cologney's just out there.
Well,
sad.
Well, that's fine. I get to bring a little bit of Cologney with me, so don't worry. But
oh my god.
I'll sit with him here. You guys go into the other room, have your discussion, and then I'll catch up with it later. Please.
Okay. So you're taking the dwarf back outside?
No, I'll sit on I'll let him sit down and we'll just sit in the room.
Okay, so the four of you are in that room then.
No. Just me and the prisoner stay in the front room, and
Okay, so so he's like, okay, I guess follow me back to the library then. And so he brings you back into another room that is absolutely just like floor to ceiling fucking books. It's like the perfect, like, just think of the scene from Beauty and the Beast when Belle goes into that room, and it's just like that nice it's really darkly lit, but everything's like very nicely, and it feels very cozy in there, but literally books disappearing up to the ceilings of this place. And
Glenn pops a knowledge boner.
he goes over and kind of, he has this book that's sitting on this table next to this like probably adorable plush chair that's like halfling sized. And there's like two different chairs that are sitting kind of in another nook, and he pulls it out and he kind of blows the dust off in front of it, and he just goes, all right, I don't know whether or not I've found what your symbol is, but I found something like it. And he's showing you these like he like opens this page to this book and he's flipping through it and he's showing you these other symbols that are like, they're not the same, but there's like one that has no eyes, but it has no eye in the middle, but it has like kind of the same shape. And then there's one that's the same, has the eye, but it's, instead of there just being like the symbol down like this, it's also they're up like this. And so they're like different versions of the same thing, but they're all kind of tied in a way. These are so old. These have aberration origins. They likely originated in the far realms millennia ago. Time is kind of weird in the far realms, and it's separated from I don't know how much you know about the far realms, in the way that it's this plane of madness that they say is in the far off reaches of the planarverse, away from ours. They're thousands of years old. These are things that we've discovered. And Rangrim, how much do you know about mind flayers? And that is where we're going to end the episode tonight.
Oh.
Well, there
Rangrim,
you
we have
have
to
it.
kill you. I'm sorry.